So again, I would kind of refer you to the blog. So it gives you this template of your main page, which if you're going to do, you'd want to change everything about it. I might show you a little bit how to change things. And it gives you the structure of folders. In the blog, I talk about each of these folders in turn. The ones we're going to pay the most attention to are the model, the controller, and the view. In the scripts, you have all the jQuery stuff, and you also have Bootstrap. What they're using for their CSS is Bootstrap. Do any of you guys use Bootstrap? Yeah. Okay. It's basically a JavaScript CSS template. You don't like it? Yeah, yeah. It makes, I mean, the point of it is to make design, but it's hard, I think. All right, so I'm going to start with a model. And I'm going to right click on the model. And I'm going to add. And what we want to add, and this may or may not be in your list, is ADO entity data model. Now, if it's not there, you want to go to new item. And then you need to go to data. And then do the ADO data model. I'm going to call it community assist model. Partially because there is a CA model there. I sometimes get confused. Maybe. In a way, it doesn't matter what you name this because we never actually address the model that way. We always address it through the community assist entities. So this is the thing that we've done before, and we'll do over. I mean, basically, if you're dealing with a database these days, you do it over and over again. We're going to do the wizard. We'll do it designing from an existing database. Sometime, if you want, it might be fun for you to play with those other models, but most of these others involve writing code. Right up front. So Nicole said you could maybe use her machine if you want. It's still kind of up front. Yeah. So then you choose MVC. Then you choose MVC, new web project, right? And MVC should be in the. Oh, so you're. Where are you?
I'm sorry, my thing is so slow.
That's fine. Go ahead and do it.
No,
I'll give it a
no,
name.
last Monday. Oh.
Actually, I see a window. Maybe it's getting.
It's not. So I did a new project.
Yeah, you guys want me to?
So it's just, sorry,
Yeah, just do okay.
and then it's that one, right?
Yeah. And then it'll say MVC. So choose MVC. Uncheck. So on that. Okay. Give it a name.
Yeah.
The name.
Huh?
All right, just do it. Now, this is the part where we go ahead.
On yours or
Yours.
mine? Oh, lovely. Good morning. Of course, I get a flat. And my tire used to the rim of my wheel. And so, like, I got a blister here trying to pull on the lever to get the tire off.
And you want to
I'm gonna like flipping it over here.
give it a.
Writing, like writing in sand.
Don't do okay. Do MVC, we get rid of that. Check that post-it cloud. And then do, oh yeah.
Yes.
Just do okay. And then it takes a while to know. And then the next part is just to add the model.
Sunday, I think.
So on the model folder.
I'm going to get like all the empty spaces on the sort of filled in. Saturday, I know how much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
so if you get in, start it up and I can lead you through it.
Okay, and then have to copy what it.
Well, I'm going through what we did last time. So we can create it. So I didn't actually post that together.
Oh,
So like conditions.
So, yeah, and then you want to do,
It's like lunch for the next year.
so add, it's not to do this, so do, new item.
used to be you could just find it.
Hit data.
Yeah.
And then do the ABO model. And you can name it or use it more. Just do that.
Yeah.
And then you're right where I am. Okay. So get Visual Studio up and I'll guide you through these things. Anyone else having issues? So if you've done this, you can go ahead of me. And do next, and I'll lead you through it when you do. So I need a new connection. Again, you don't have to do any of this if you did it last time. So I'm going to do a new connection, and the server name will be, we're localhost, right? I have 3 virtuals, and it sometimes gets confused, but yes, we are virtual. We are localhost. And then I'm just going to do OK. I'm going to just do next. This whole screen is about whether you want to save this in your config file. If you do not save it in your config file, you're going to have to manually manage the connection every time, which is a pain. So I'm going to do next. And for what we're going to do,
Are we opening community assist service or assist client?
so actually neither at this time. We're going to make a brand new thing.
Okay, so we're not doing anything to WCF service?
No, those are done. They should be up online. Yeah, they're up online. So. But let's do just start a new project once we get there. So I'm going to do contact. Let's do contact type. I'm going to do employee just because I'm going to run the wizard on employee. I think last time I ran it on something else. It doesn't matter too much if you ran it on something else. Yeah, well, we are going to add person, and we're going to add person address. I think last time I included the grant request because I wanted to run something. Yeah, I included these. You don't have to. I think I'm going to run it on employee this time, but the point of the wizard here is just to have templates. It doesn't matter if you run it on different things last time. The template will be the same. So do a new, slowly. All right, so the other thing that we need, and this part we need, and if you're unsure of what tables you want to get, just take them all. But we need the register. I'm not going to do the login, though you could add that. I mean, you could do your own login stuff, but I'm going to just do the register. I did those last time. You're welcome to do them. If they're there, that's fine. Do you want me to just do the same ones as last time?
No, I was just going to.
So, all right, so you did, okay.
It's just.
So you want to do, why did that not come up with the right stuff? Cancel and do new project.
Oh, it's not website?
This is the only time we've done the new project. and do a do ASP.NET. Give it a do and then do and then choose in and then I'm going to finish, but as I said, you get the UFT register last time. Sorry. Okay, so I'm okay for all of security warnings. I don't know what expanding my reference. I mean, it's into the reference, but this last time you have to do it again. I've got full. They aren't necessarily the same tables you had last time. It takes a while for this one because it's building a lot. So now we have the model. And then, again, this part, even if you didn't get this part done that I'm doing right now, it'd be all right. I'm just putting it there as a template so that I have something to work with when I create my own controller. So I'm going to add a controller. So I did the model. I'm going to add a controller, and I'm going to do this one. So when I do add controller, it gives me lots of different options. The one we're going to do for the assignment is empty. But I'm going to do this one with views. Oh, except that it's probably going to fail. Anybody remember why? Because I didn't build it.
Yeah, we did discuss.
Yeah, we had, yeah. So what build does is it compiles it, right? And if it isn't pre-compiled together, it seems to fail. So you just go to the build and build solution. You could do rebuild solution, but we've actually never built it. So.
Only a parameter is incorrect.
For what?
That's what it says. Not when it's the operation could not be completed. The parameter is incorrect.
The build?
I think I heard one.
Yeah, just probably just
Advanced JavaScript, that's where you need that.
The only thing I could think of is it's not. It might work. I don't know. So having built this, I'm going to right-click on controllers and do that thing. Add controller. And how are you guys doing? It's still waiting. It's still building the basics. Okay. So I'm going to use the one with the entity framework. I'm going to do add. So the model class will be, I was going to do it on employee. This is not what I did for your example. I did the grant request, but it really shouldn't matter. I'm going to use community assist. And that's all I'm just going to do add. And what it'll do is it'll write a controller and a view, actually a whole bunch of views. And again, the only reason I want to do this is because when I create a view from scratch, I still don't have it down in my head. So if I could go back and look at the views that it created, you know. So it created an employees controller, and it did a few things. We're going to have to do a little bit different, but it did the action result. It has the employees, and it gets the include the person. And the reason why it's including the person is it's going to use the name, right? It's doing the connections. We're going to do it a little bit clumsier, but we'll do it. And then it basically, for the details, it just takes finds the employee that has that ID, and it will return that to the view. I'll just show you what they look like in a second. And it has a create. It does a pretty neat thing here where it creates an employee in the parameters. I'll show you that. As I said, we're going to do our own. We're not going to do everything. We're not going to do. We're not going to do the delete. We're not going to do the details. We're just going to get a new employee and a create, because that's what the assignment asks for, right? So just to show you, there's all that for the controller. In the views, there is now a employees view, and it has create, delete, details, edit, and index. We're going to basically create the index and the create. So if I go to the index here, and if I look at that, you'll see that it has, and it takes a minute for it to clear here. I'm not sure why. At least yesterday it cleared. There it goes. So we tell it what model we're using. It's just one of the things I don't like about MVC and the Microsoft thing is that the view is aware of the model, and it really ideally it shouldn't be. So we're getting the title of this. This is just HTML. It's got a P, but we got these things with the ats. This gives you the create new and the create. That gives you basically a button for that. And then we got a table, and we've got the display name for, and it basically gets the display name out of the model. And I'll show you how that works. And then in the, there's a loop, a for each loop, and where it goes through and gets the data. And at the end of the these, for each one of these, there's an edit, details, and delete, which we can remove when we do that because we aren't going to do all of those. If I run this, and probably what you need to do next is on the model. Right click on the model. Add. And we want to add a so just add new item. Data. Video not as you wish. I think I call it community assistant. And then, yeah, you've done this wizard before, haven't you? Or you've seen me run it a few times. Just do next. You probably need a new connection. So he gave me the employee hire date, their annual salary, and the person last name, and it gave me edit. You know, so if I look at the create new, which is what we will do, it gives you a little bit of a form there, and it gives you, because we're doing with the person key, which I'm not going to do, but it gives you the. Because I think this is actually fairly useless, especially when there are multiple peoples with the same last name. So if I go back to the list, you can also do edit, right? Which we're not, but you could do that. And you could do details, which is just a different look.
Database are we choosing?
Community assist. There we go. Do next. Okay, so we're all set to go with the new stuff now. Yeah.
So I was caught up last time, so I don't have the same controllers.
That's fine because I did a different one this time.
Oh, okay.
So under tables, you know what's fastest part? Just hit DVL. Just take them all. And then under store procedures, click on that. We need to register. Well, we just need to register. Yours will look a little different because you'll have more tables, but it's just not worth the time to select. The recording has started, yes. Although there's all these dead spots where I help people. Is yours working okay? Okay. So all of this is, the employee stuff is just new. It's the same kind of example, but I did it. So I'm going to kill this, and then we can actually start on the new stuff. All right. So we wanted to, if I remember the assignment, I haven't refreshed myself on it, I should have. The assignment is just to take, be able to add a new display persons, right? Right, so basically we want to display the person to some extent, right? Right, so we can use that. So basically all we're going to do is create and display. So it sounds like with the display, I might do it a little bit different since we're doing it together, in that I think we'll do it so we display more than just their name and email, that we'll display their address and their contacts too. Yeah.
Those of us that did it before, we didn't have the employee stuff.
It doesn't matter.
So we just do whatever you're doing, but do it in the grant request.
No, because the grant request is and the employer are totally irrelevant to what we're going to do right now.
I'm just wondering what
Yeah.
pull up so I can work on.
No, you don't have to do these because the only reason I ran the wizard is to show you what the wizard develops, and also because when I start writing my code, it's really useful to be able to glance over here and see how they did it. Because we're going to need to do the same thing. Does that make sense? And the way I would suggest learning this is to run it through the different variations of the wizard. Look at the code that it generates, both on the view side and the controller side, and just, you know, it'll teach you how to do it. That's how I learned how to do it. So I am going to do something though. So in the models, notice we have, this is a little bit different than what we had. There's position, there's person address. You may not have all of these because if you did the grant request, you might have the grant request and things. I have the employee. We need the person. I had to get person address, person, and contact, right?
Person address.
Not contact. All right, we'll skip the well, we almost need to do the contact though. But you guys don't have contacts. Well, you just did it though. From last time, you guys don't have contacts? No.
Which model?
It's under models. Yeah.
I must have.
Oh, I do have contact.
You do have
Yeah,
contact.
I'm sorry, I'm like looking at it wrong. I
You do have contact.
forgot about that.
Which would it be under?
It's under models.
I know. This is the.
Which one is it? Under community assist model 2T?
So last time we had contacts, grant requests, grant reviews.
Expand the model CS. The last one. Where do we have the actual model? So So I'm going to add another model here. So we're not going to do the wizard. We're just going to add a class. This is similar to something that we've done before. So I'm going to add, and do you remember that we had, what did we call it? Person info, person life. Do you remember what we called it? Yeah, so you could call it whatever you want. But I'm going to add a class. And you need to do this in the model. The model. I'll call it, I guess I'll call it person light. And I'm going to add it. Now, what we need in here, remember how our our store procedure needed certain fields? We need all those fields in here, right? So I'm actually going to put the person key in here too. So I'm going to do public int person key, not ket, and then I'm going to do set get. All right, and we need, I know we need the last name, and we don't have to name these exactly the same as the underlying tables. So I'm just going to do string last name, set get, and that should be a semicolon, not a comma. And I'm going to do public string first name, set get. You can kind of see the pattern. All right, and then we have email. So the order doesn't matter too much, although the order we pass them to the store procedure will matter. What else do we have? We have apartment number, right? Which could be left null, which is fine. Public string street. Public string city. So this is very close, as I said, to the class we did before in the service. Public string state. We will need to, for some things, we will need the password. So I'm going to do, oh, and that needs a semi. And then lowercase. So state, we need the zip code. And capitalized. All right. So, and then we had home phone and work phone. And then the last thing I'm going to do is a password, because we'll need it too. Whoa. I was just trying to get rid of a space. And then the last one then is password. So I'm making my own data class. And partially, again, the reason why I'm doing this, because we could do it, it's just harder with the 3 classes, right, that are built in to the data thing. So we're just putting it as one thing so we can pass it as one rather than as 3. So this will be password.
The last week, it was like the account key model was CS files and all forward.
Yeah, so we got things in the model. Like, this is really kind of a summary of person, person address, and context. So we're just sort of putting it all together. As I said, one of the things that often drives programmers nuts is that the database structure does not map well to object models. You know, it's more broken up than you would normally think about it. So does that make sense? So we've added a class. Now notice it's down here for person light, but that's okay. It'll see it because it's in the model. You know, it's not part of the community assist model and such, but we can take what we got here and write it to the 3 tables there. All right, so anybody need more time on that? Got it? It's essentially the same class, except that in this context, you don't need data, contract, and data member. You know, those compiler directives. Remember how we did that in the service?
Oh,
Right, every one of these had data member, and at the top was data contract. You don't have to do that here. And in fact, it wouldn't recognize what they are. All right, so having done this model, I'm going to go up to the controller, and I'm going to add, a controller. So the controller folder, add controller. Oops. All right, so this controller will be empty. Because we're going to write the code. I'm going to add, and we don't want to call it default controller. We want to call it, what do we want to call it? Person controller? What?
my mind jumped to it. I was laughing.
Yeah, that does sound a little person light controller. We could do that. Yeah, it does sound a little shades of gray. I don't know. We don't want it to be default controller. That's all I know. What? We could. I mean, you could. That would make it later. No, trying to figure out what you're doing later, maybe a little bit issue.
We're gonna call it controller and go back.
So it needs to be actually one of the things about controllers is they actually need to end with controller.
Call it personnel.
Yeah. How do you spell personnel? E-L-L?
Yes. With two,
The one
Two
reason,
N's, 1 L.
one L. two
one
Ns.
L, 2 N's and 1 L, yeah. All right, personnel controller. You could call it person controller. It actually shouldn't matter materially for what we're doing. The one reason I don't really want to call it person controller is in case you were to run it from person here. So I'm going to add it. All right, so there's a couple of things here. Notice that, so we have just action result index. It's kind of like our service. It's just a template. It's an empty template. What I'm going to do, and this could be confusing to you, is I'm going to go back to my employee controller just to look at the code, because one of the things that I want to know is how is it that you get the model in there. So I shouldn't need to, wonder if the model's already there. I shouldn't need community assist equals new. Well, actually, I probably do want that. I'm just going to copy that line. I'm going to go back to the person controller. We probably do need that, right? Because we are going to have to talk to that. Although we probably don't need it right away. Why does it not see it?
I should get employees controller.
Oh, it's just over here in the controllers. Oh,
I know, mine's new.
you might have grant
I used.
Grant request.
Grant request.
Oh, grant request controller.
So I'm going back to employees controller.
Home controller?
No, it's not, you don't have any.
Oh, this is what we need too. Using MVC models.
You don't have this.
I knew that there was a reference. So I'm going to add that line. Using MVC Assignment 7 models. Then it sees that. But we can also, so action result index. We do want that.
Do I need to add employees controller?
You do not.
I don't have it. Unless it's hidden or named.
That was running the wizard. So don't worry about it. You can kind of just follow what I'm doing because I'm only using it as a template for what we're doing. So the two things that you need to do is you probably need to do using MVC Assignment 7 models.
In personnel controller?
Yes. And the way I found it is, as I said, I'm just referring back. So the thing that I ran is mostly so I can remember what I need to do in here. So notice it has a namespace of controllers, right? And we also want to be able to use the models. And just to show you, so
Can I see the text, please?
what does it not like? So this may be different, right? This part here, if you named your assignment 7 without the MVC, just go assignment 7. If you named it A7.
Okay, and then type in the dot models.
Dot models.
Type it. 'Cause I don't
It
have-
should have it there. If it's the name of your assignment, dot.
Okay.
Well, here's that. Under global, it's not under models.
This one right here.
What?
Her model is under global.
Oh,
Or am I, what?
No, you already have that one. That's one.
Oh, he says I'm
Well,
sorry. I can't
that's right
focus.
here, I'll show you.
This is one of the front of class when I can't fix my eyes
So you
on
should
him,
be
so I
Private,
focus on what I can.
private community assistant activities.
Under person control.
Other models, because her model 1 is for some reason under global.
oh,
Just drag it.
yeah, drag it into the,
This one, the whole thing.
yeah, drag it into model.
Wait, this whole.
Yes. And then you do okay. For as many times as it asks you to do.
I have no idea where this saved at. Maybe this is saved in my thumb drive in case anything happens.
So actually, it'll probably break the
Sounds
other.
like that.
Yeah.
Now, should I put dot models here?
Yeah. dot models. Yeah, if you don't have things in the right folders, they will cause you problems. That's why I always right-click on the folder to do it. You can drag them into the right folders, usually. So this one this is where we are with return view. So what I want to do here is we're going to do a query to get all the information that we want to show in the view, and then we will assign it, we'll make a go-to list, and basically we'll put that in here. And that's the view that we'll return. So this is a complicated query, and I probably would have had to give it to you anyway, because it's going to be a query for 3 tables. So I'm going to say var, what do we want to call them? Peeps equals from P, and I might not want to start in person, but we'll try it. From P, probably it's okay. In db.persons are actually people. All right. And what are you not sure of? So we might have to make a couple of changes. So I always do these by feel, which is probably not always your best way. So I'm going to do p dot person key. And I am going to break this down. Hopefully it'll, and then I'm going to do p dot person last name. P dot person first name. P dot person email. P dot person, so we got person email, person probably we want, is there anything else? That's about all we want out of there, right? So I'm going to try person addresses dot, and it's not giving me what I want. So I know how to fix that. So I'm going to do from PA in P dot person addresses. So I have a second from here. And now if I do PA dot, I can get the person address apartment. Trick with this, I think I showed you this one other time. This is a new variable. I'm just declaring the variables at this point, which seems a bit mysterious and to violate a lot of rules, but that's how they do it. Okay, so we're just declaring the variable at this time. It's really important that this PA not go to DB, but go to P to keep the relationship, right? So P is the current person, and this is the address that belongs to that current person. So it's showing the relation there. And we might have to do the same with contacts. So, and I'm going to do PA dot person. So actually, I don't know if we'll need to. So anyway, PA dot person. We're at apartment. We need street. Person. This might be too much. It's going to be a little bit of an ugly page. State and zip. I think that, do we want to include their, like just maybe their home phone? PA address zip. And we'll do, so home phone would be p.contacts. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to see it. So I think I need to do from C in p.contacts. And then I can do C dot, so it actually doesn't give me a choice contact number. I'm going to do something here where C dot contact type key equals 1, double equals. That's a complicated thing, right? So I'm looking for 3 different tables, and it remembers the relationships, but we're also kind of spelling out the relationships. People, for the person address that relates that to that person, to the contacts that relates to that person. And I'm doing where the contact type key equals 1, which means only for home phones. Problem with this, although it's not a huge problem for right now, is it will exclude anyone that doesn't have a home phone number. All right, so if they don't have a home phone number, they won't show up. These are all the fields we want to see from whatever table, right? From P, PA, C. These are things that later we'll need to write to the, my brain is gone, that when we want to register a person, we'll need all those same fields. But I think I can do here, just do peeps dot to list. So we're taking the result that we get from our query, and we're just making a list of it, and we're passing that to the view. Does that make sense? This is all a little bit weird and mysterious. Yeah, question.
Yeah, there's a couple of us are getting the red squiggly line under database, under DE of the query, but we're not quite sure why.
So did you run the, you had the community assist entities, right?
Yeah.
And you have the models up here?
Yes. Assignment 7 models.
Yeah. This should give you the community assist entities. You ran the,
Oh, we didn't run something, we didn't run anything.
did you run the data entities thing?
Yeah, did we?
I thought you did.
Yeah. I see that we're missing that line. Oh, don't do it. Okay, never mind. Oh, I got it.
Okay. But it's always good when you can figure these things out on your own. It's like everything we've done this quarter, this is complicated.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of different pieces here.
Just hold up on top of it for a second.
Where do you need? So we're pulling from 3 different tables. We're selecting fields from those tables. We're only going to pull out the people that have a home phone of 1. How do I know that that's what that is? I just know. If we wanted to, we could actually do where C contact type name equals C contact type name, and then well, we could use the name if we wanted to. Home phone. You guys got it?
No, I'm not sure. I'm getting a bunch of errors.
Now you're getting a bunch of errors.
Yeah.
Let me take a look real quick, and then what we're going to do next is we're going to create a view.
Basically, it sounds like in the commissions. I brought it over.
That's because it's outside of the box.
Yeah, so she put this above.
No, you should put it inside the box. So you have the namespace. So look at the box here, public box, and then you can do the words after that. I think that's what that
Okay.
Yes.
is.
Fix it, yeah.
Did you do that?
No, we did something differently. Final was the whole class on page that was like basically a website with like how to write a script or and every you wrote for the teams and everybody did. So ours was like how to set up a cron. That's what we did. How to set up a
Put it on WordPress, like a WordPress page in what, 5.9?
Well, so
Yeah, we
two
just
things you can do. You have the home phone.
Or we could add the shot.
Yeah.
Or a repair of VM, or karaoke.
So, and I think it's nullable, so it should be fine.
Great.
Yeah.
How do you type this in?
So return, it should be just view.
And then up here. Oh, addresses.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. It looks like it, so it still has an error.
Oh, wait.
Well, it's one reason I break these up, is so it's easier
Yeah.
to read the commas.
Should be done that way, but
All right, so anyone else on that? Okay, let's make a view for this. So before I make the view, and again, if you don't have this, you don't have to look at it, but let's look at the, so I'm going to kind of collapse models for a moment. Up and down here we have views. And so there's the employees view that we made, and there's home, and but what we want to do is we want to create a new folder. But first I'm going to do, because what we're going to do is the index view. And I'm opening this just so you can see what we kind of have to do. So we need to put a line like this at the top, right? We need to give it a name index. And then we need, we'll do the action create link here. We'll do the table headers, right, where we get the field names. And then we will do a loop where we go through and we loop through all the data. The pain with this is that we have so much data, fields. It's just going to be kind of a pain to do that. But I'm not going to worry about these, so we're not going to have these.
How do you get the employees folder?
Well, so you'd have to run that other wizard, MVC wizard. It's fine. We don't need it. It's just for, as I said, for reference here.
Okay, we'll reveal the like copy that one chunk, put it in there to use it.
I'm just going to copy a couple of pieces, but you could also type it in. Yeah, you could copy and paste it to some extent. I'm going to kind of walk through it though. So I'm going to create a new view, but one of the things we have to do for the view is we have to actually create a new folder, right? So on the views, I'm going to add a view. All right, so the view name, actually, so am I adding a page or am I adding a folder?
didn't you add a folder?
Yeah, I do. I'm just trying to think of how I add the folder.
Under add your folder,
Oh,
new folder.
so let's add a folder. Let's call it personnel.
I already have that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, we do have it.
Yeah.
Never mind. Let's delete this
Oh,
one.
mine's my sister, because I we must enter a name.
Then?
X.
Yeah, so it's an empty one. We got that by making a controller. So one of the rules is that controllers have to end with the word controller, and the view folders have to have the same name as the first part of the controller. Does that make sense? Yeah. And it did create that for us. So I can then, within this folder, add a view, and the view name will be index. I believe, yes. View name will be index. It'll be empty. And I'm just going to add it. notice it gives us a view bag title is index. And it gives us H2, it gives us our heading. Why it starts with H2? I guess because most of the HTML, this is kind of elsewhere, and I'll show you where it is when we modify that a little bit. Most of it is in the layout. There's a layout model, and what we do on these pages just gets put inside of a div, right, inside of that. So we do need to do our reference to the model. And again, I'm going to go to the, did I lose my, oh, index C, this one. So this, I'm going to do this. And again, if you don't have this, you can type it, which I know is a bit of a pain. I'm going to modify it anyway. So we go back to this index. All right, so we're not using employee. We're using personnel. So I should see that. Why is it not giving me the IntelliSense? It is, and then it goes away. All right, let's just type it. Should see that. Why does it not see it?
Is that, it's just not trying to reference the employee table and not the employee controller?
Well, this one is,
Because we need this, well, the one I have is employees controller,
all right.
but so if it was that name for employee, over employees controller as part of the view.
So let's look at the controllers,
That's obviously
personnel controller. I had no trouble with this before, so what did I do? So that's the controller. Why does it not like this? It's under models, right? Well, if we look under models, it's, I want, oh, you know what, it probably needs to be person light, not the personnel. We're referencing the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I wonder if this will work. We might have to modify the controller a little bit too. Let's try under the H2 here, just to do our table. And the table has a, was it an ID? Actually, I'm going to copy it over again. So we go over to this. We probably want this class equals table. And I'll just copy. Why is that empty? I'm going to copy that. And again, if you don't have it, I'm going to spend a little time on it. So we have a table with the class equals table. Did I skip the P? Got it. Yeah, we should probably have it. Although it's not that important right now. The thing with the model here is that it will want, and why does that go away immediately? It shows it to me and then it goes away. So we want to start with, I don't know if we want person key, but I'll do person key. And it seems to want a space there before it will do. So then we would want, like, do we want to do first name, last name, or last name, first name?
Last name.
I'll do last name.
Okay.
That's how it's fun.
I hate that it needs that space to give me the IntelliSense. So we do first name. All right. And then basically we need to do this for,
How are you getting your IntelliSense for?
I'm making a space at the end. So where it says, I'm just taking that. For some reason, if I put a space there, then my IntelliSense works. Email.
Mine's not going to work at all.
It isn't?
No.
Should. What is it?
Type in another spot.
It's just underlying model dot person key model dot last name.
And up at the top, you have,
Model space IE numerable. Same thing. The colors aren't matching the same text that you have.
why
You
is
don't have the
that?
T tag in there.
Oh, my table doesn't have an end tag because it's
Well,
with it.
is there supposed to be a key tag in there?
I don't know.
The P tag
But
shouldn't
that was,
matter.
yeah, that should have mattered.
Why is it not?
Mine's doing something, it wants me to write
Personal,
personal.
maybe it's overseas.
Yeah. Now, did you have a period in year 7?
Class.
I'm not much better, thank you.
So, yeah, these, as I said, this again has to be the name of your assignment, not just what I have. And what else? I think that's all. Once you've got the model there, it'll see this. One of the things that I'm thinking of is that this may not, so I'm going to copy this whole thing. It may not come. We may need to do a little bit of things because what we're passing really isn't the same as the light. So I may not show everything that's in that class. What is, damn it. Really hate this, that it has to do that. So got the email. Let's do the apartment. So I'm going to do the apartments up the top. And then I'm just going to keep doing this. These are what we're doing right now is just the headings. And I'm going to do street. And I think I may skip the phones on this. Street, city, state. Just because we got enough stuff here. And I'll do the zip, and I'm going to let that be enough. And I think I called it zip code, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll skip the phones. All right, so what I'm going to do next, that this is all the headers. Then I'm going to do another table row. And actually what I'm going to do, which is sort of a, I don't know if we should do this.
Why is city not wanting to be taken?
I don't know. Do you have it in your class?
What do you mean?
When we did that
Yeah.
model class, did you accidentally miss that one?
Person, address, cities? PA dot person, address.
No, not that one so much as the info. Let's go back to your model. The class that we wrote. So if you go up to wherever the model is, yeah, open that. Look at your person live. Did you write that class that we did?
Was that done today?
Right here.
Yeah, there it is. Just double click that one, see what's in there. You've got city there, that's fine. Just leave it out. So the way I would do this, but I'm not sure that it's the way you want to do this. So we need a for each. Let's do that first. So I'm going to do a at, and again, if you want to look at the old index, you'll see that it's a at for each bar item and model. You could copy that if you want. If you don't have it, obviously you can't copy it. I got rid of it. I have to do that. But we're going to do a for each loop, right? And the for each loop is going to basically loop through all the same things, except there won't be display names. That TR should go away. This may be a bad idea. I'll show you what I'm doing, but I have to change a lot of stuff.
Do you need that open curly bracket?
Yes, and we'll have to close it too. So you could, if you want, you can close it like right here. Right, because we're going to do all the, and these should not be, these all have to be converted to TDs.
Can we just grab the TDs from the one below?
You can if you want. I'm going to find and replace. Actually, I want replace. Find and replace. Quick replace. No, they need to be THs. So I'm hoping it only does it in the selection. Yes. So let's do, actually, is there a way to do them all together?
Get rid of this, the brackets using THTD.
Yeah, that might be.
If you change the top H to D, it also changes the closing bracket.
But I don't want, what if I change? Yeah, it does, but it should just change.
I think you made it quick. Yeah.
Okay, now can I do all of them together? Replace all? Did I screw up though? Did it do?
Looks like you did.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Good. Now, one of the things we also have to do is underneath here, I have to close the table. And does that need a @ sign in front of it? No, it shouldn't. But how do I need to look at the other one to see how I close.
Did we copy it below the TR?
So this one starts that. Yeah, it should just close after the TR. Did I not have it?
So
Let me go back. Yeah, so that should be okay. I don't need the @
Yeah, but if you do this trick right here.
So what is it not like about the TR?
I think the curly bracket needs to go above the TR.
You need an opening.
No, it
You
shouldn't.
need an opening TR, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have an opening TR.
Right, within the for each loop.
Right.
That's how it's like.
Yeah, so that works. So this is all in a loop. We're doing a for each loop. We're going through it. Now, the other thing is that we only have display name there. We need to change that. And what we want there is, I'm looking for it. We want the value. Yeah, well, let's look at what, so again, I'm going back to the other index. Display for is what we want. Instead of display name for, we want display for. So display for. And so I could actually go through here with each of these and just remove the name. As I said, copying and pasting can be really dangerous, but
Why don't you try it?
what?
Why don't you try it?
I did.
It didn't work.
Well, it won't work if I leave it as display name for. Display for displays the data. Display name for displays the column heading. Now, why is it doing this? Model, model, state. Why are they all red now? Is there a difference in the model, model? Item. See, too many changes. So here, if I were to highlight all of these, model needs to change to item. In the loop, the TDs, the model here dot needs to change to item. So I can't do that. I can't do a select. I'm pretty sure if I change this,
Why don't you just do model dot and then change it to item dot?
I could. See, you're good at selecting. I'm just being manual about it. I don't have any guarantee this is going to work anyway, because I think there's another step we're going to have to do. I think it's going to give us an error because we're not passing it actually info. Oh, I left that as lowercase I. So let's see if it throws an error. I know the fix for the error if it throws it. If it doesn't throw an error, we'll be happy.
I have to link that has all the keyboard shortcuts.
So I'm going to run this. I don't have the P in there with the create yet. We'll do that in a little bit. As I said, I think it may throw an error.
Oh,
And the error, if it runs, will be about a model.
mhm.
Slow to build.
Yeah, you never closed the table.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did. Yeah, so this is the type. That's the error I was expecting. Okay. I was hoping not to have it, but I was expecting it. So we have to go back to the controller. So the problem is that we're passing peeps to list, right? And the problem with that is that peeps is not in personnel info or person light. So what we have to do is we have to go through and assign these things to person light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list person light. Well, let's just call it peeps list. Equals new list person light. I was hoping, as I said, to skip this because it adds another letter query. What I'm going to do now, so I've made a list to store it that actually is storing person light objects. And then basically what I need is a for each loop. For each var, what do we want to call it? P in peeps, right? This P, by the way, has no relation to the P up above. They're separated from each other. I have to basically make a person light PL equals new person light. And then I'm just going to do PL dot, so last name, well, let's do the key. PL dot person key equals P dot person key. And I may have to, did we make person key a string? I think we did, which is probably a problem, but let's not worry.
Person keeps in it.
Is it an int?
Yeah.
So we may have to do, I did make it an int, okay. Community, where am I? Person controller. So do you see the pattern? PL dot last name equals P dot person last name. Actually, I just did first name equals P dot person last name. Person first name equals P dot person first name. And we didn't do the phone, so we don't have to pass that. PL dot email equals P dot person email. PL dot apartment equals P dot apartment should be up at the person address apartment. PL dot street equals P dot person address street. It's a pain. I was hoping to avoid this. PL dot city equals P dot person address city, and PL dot state equals P dot person address state. PL dot. So we did zip. Is that where we stopped? Was the zip?
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't have to.
Equals P dot person address zip. Okay. And then we need to add. So peeps list dot add PL. So what we're doing is we're converting all the data into person like classes, and then instead of peeps list to list, what we do is we just return peeps list. And I think it'll work now. As I said, I was trying to avoid it can be a pain to have to go through. First of all, you list all the data from the tables, and then you have to write it all to a person-like class. But that's what we told it to expect as a person-like class in the index, so let's kind of do it. We're going to finish today. I think we can. The next part is easy. I'm going to go back. Do you guys need a minute on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it make some sense? Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's list is red.
Your which is
My
not red?
final Pete's list, you gotta take out the parentheses after.
Oh,
Yeah. That's,
We have to get a lot of books.
Don't mind me. There was some problems going on that I could not fix. So
I think I found
there's a problem with mine.
I did bar item.
so I'm hoping this works. So I'm going to go back to the index, and then I'll come back if you're not quite done. Before you do tons of typing, I'd like to know that it worked. I am running it. I had to go back. I went to the view to run it. Yeah, I don't think it'll work if you run it from the controller. Might, but I don't know.
I like to control the presence.
I'll see if I get an error or if it runs. If I get an error, I may go look at my blog. It worked.
We win.
There's other things you might want to do in this. You probably really wouldn't want this many things on a page.
So you can limit it to like 10, 20 per page.
I think there's ways, yeah, you could page. You could add in some paging. But it did work for me. So if you got errors, let me know. I can figure out. So let me go back to the. Okay, there you go. Go away.
You didn't encapsulate that in as well.
Yeah.
What part do you guys need to see?
I thought we treat that this area.
Does it make sense? And then, as I said, we have one more thing to do if we get this one right. Yeah, beyond.
How long did it take you to come up with all these names and addresses and everything about them? Did that take you a while to sit and type all that crap in?
Yes.
Yeah.
When, I mean, some of it has grown over the years with just classes, and I occasionally keep the data from classes just so I have more data and I don't have to type it in. But yes, when I make a database and populate it, it's one reason why they don't have more data, is that I have to manually enter the data. I do have that Metro Alt where I tried to do it by looping things, just writing C# code and huge arrays of like name combination. You end up with, I have like 30 people with the same last name. Weirdly, most of them are unique in the combination, first and last name. But
Really?
I'm not sure.
And that one has several, the biggest table has 600,000 rows. But the data isn't as meaningful as everybody. It's not consistent, like it's a bus driver thing. Some bus drivers have been working 24 hours a day for a couple of years.
That must be real.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Don't get on that.
Is yours working?
No, I have no clue what I did wrong.
No,
Okay.
Except for the, except for
Only comes to Boston, they can make candy.
Yours works, right?
Boston, they can use candy and iced tea, butterfingers.
Yours has
All I eat.
This
It was easy.
That is
Yeah.
That is on the list.
I get it.
Oh, I
I
see.
would get 1 pound bag. I get that much.
The good old days.
You haven't tried it yet?
Oh, yeah, I do. I just.
We got a database. We can picture the
I
database.
rub my gums like, I wear gloves.
Oh,
If you are, there's a, when I go home. It's tough to chew my gums.
Oh, yes. But it's weird.
I just have like.
I think that's just.
So I try to eat with like those wax teeth that are about.
And now we'll do more.
I just got them in MVC.
So that's good, except that,
Oh, I read it.
yeah. Let's go back to. Stop it. I'll show you how. Not the model.
Yeah, thanks.
That's actually good.
Awesome.
I just heard you go.
I got behind on my table.
That's what's hard about this.
Okay, so I think I know why. Let's go back to.
I'm still typing. Everybody's explaining.
Yeah,
Done.
that's why I have to go
So
back
I'm
and
just
watch. I just go back and watch.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, the personnel, not the model. The personnel. Yeah. So let's take the bottom to- So you're still, so what do you include?
That was good green.
Yeah, this. Personnel.
That's why I went to the bathroom break, you know.
Yeah. I can't get sound transmit for some weird reason. Yeah, I don't understand why it's not recognizing my TV as a source. But technically, there's a plugin for Chromecast that I can use with Chrome and cast it to my TV.
You wrote it. We still have this.
You don't have it. No. Newer TVs now also have USB ports. And so Google connects to your Wi-Fi, where you plug it into your TV, and then with your app you can cast from other apps on your phone, or you can even just connect to your browser. And so if you log on to Hulu and you can cast it to your TV from your laptop without actually having to have the wire.
Yeah.
Amazon has something similar, it's called a Fire Stick, but you can't get anything from Amazon onto the Google one because Amazon unless you do it.
Which attaches to the, which attaches to the TV. So I
Let's look at the bottom.
Yeah.
So don't return peeps to list, return peeps list.
Where do you from?
Yeah, right.
I separated my front and my back, two separate. But when I go in there, I'm still showing like.
Right, so let's go back to
Purchasing them on Amazon, because you can find really good web components and share the cables that you want them to connect to.
Oh, he does this. I don't have patience.
You can find the exact product on Amazon, target the downtown low price match to Amazon if it's sold by Amazon.
Yeah.
And only these two, so that everybody knows. Yeah, that's what you said too, but then, no, all of the live feeds, the live feeds. Yeah, I saw that already. But I just couldn't figure out, and then the rest of them were easy.
I've been able to do that for years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would make sense.
My mom
Maybe
has
help
been
me
set up for that.
It would make the better part of my hair.
Yes.
Ripping all my hair.
I could have actually gotten, some ice cream if it was worse. Just a little.
So open up your.
Yes.
First of all.
Yeah, you know, you like had a heart attack.
Let me see it.
I suspect
No,
that
you know,
that-
I are.
Yeah.
So your TRCC
I don't know what this
You need
is.
to write the rules.
This what that's supposed to show up.
Are we mostly there then?
I
So if you got there, that's
Don't do
fine.
that.
So one of the things you can do, and I'll show you how to make a link later. Just write personnel
Another reason why you should have emergency plans of RPs is 2 weeks,
and then just press enter.
in my opinion. They, FEMA says 3 days, but even like, Minneapolis.
It's building things
rainstorm
to fix well.
that knocked power out. for
ASP,
hours.
for the first time it loads, takes
Very
forever and then
populated
it
area.
stays built. So it's
For
usually
certain
fast.
areas, we're out for a week.
You know, it took me 6 or
That's
7
where I
tries of downloading.
I lived in Minneapolis for a decade. South.
For some reason, the download would not
Small zone.
load it on my computer at home. I
It's
finally
far
got
enough
it loaded.
away to
So
where
I'll
they
try it
could
one more time.
come to visit, but they'd have to communicate
15 minutes for
first.
install.
Yeah.
I tried to, no. meaning that I
Starts
don't.
making
And I got,
stuff.
I got
Yeah, I think mine's.
All right.
All right, let's do the last part if we have time. We got 15, 20 minutes. I know you have to leave.
We gotta go share something.
I will post it this time.
Like, all the interesting things happen when
I know, I know. As I said, at any time, and even if it's next quarter or sometime, when you have a few minutes, if you want to go over some of this to refresh or look at it, feel free to ask. All right. The last thing we want to do is add a create view, which it won't be as hard, I hope. So first thing I'm going to do is in the views under personnel, I'll add a new view and we'll make it create. So let's call it create. And I think that's all we have to do there. We could, let's speed this up. Let's do create.
so under personnel.
Yeah, and let's do the model class equals person light. So I haven't done the controller stuff, but let's see what happens when I create the view. Right, I think it's because we haven't created the controller. Let's do the controller first.
How do we not use crashes?
Yeah, it crashed. I think I'm thinking though that we might be able to auto generate the view once we get the controller set up. So in the controller, this is the same controller. Don't have to write a new controller. What we do have to write is a new method. And kind of like this one at the very top says public action result index. we need this to be public action result. And we need it to be, so action result, I need to give it a name. Create. Okay, and I'm going to do something kind of like, and again, I'm going to just show you the other create. So let's see if I can find a create for like employees. So that's the view. I want to go to the controller create. When it does create, I think there were two things there. This has only got two things, right? Person key and person last name.
On the grant request controller, we have a viewbag grant type key and a viewbag person key.
Right. That's because it comes from another. I'm not sure if we need to. I think we just want viewbag person liked equals new select list, and then we can put the fields in there. So I'm going to, this is an empty create, so yeah, we can do this. Yeah, we'll see you. Have a good weekend. So I'm going to go back to my create here, not that create. Person controller create, do the curly braces, and I'm going to do viewbag. Person key is probably still correct. DB, and I think instead of DB people, it'll be just person light. And do it in the other one, does it have, it's not valid. So I need a collector for this. I don't know if that'll work. We don't have a collector for person. Yeah, let me look real quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I'm going to go to the blog. www.conger. Blogspot. So this is creating a controller from scratch. Let's look at the create. So in the create, I just did return view. And then in here, it's a matter of returning all of the fields. So let's just return view and create. Yeah, it's a double constructor. It's overloaded. Let's just do this. I think it's fine with that. And then we'll do public action result create. And I believe it's in square brackets bind. And then, was it parentheses inside of the parentheses? I'm looking again at the blog. Bind, yeah, and then you actually don't close the square bracket yet. So bind, just start the parentheses. Include equal. And then what we want is all the fields, right? Yeah, so all of those things. So I'm going to, I just want to make sure the syntax, yeah, it's all in a string but with commas. And I don't think we need, because we're writing, this is going to write it. I think it'll be, we don't need the key. So it'll be last name. Yeah, we do need quotes. Comma, first name, comma, email. Here's a problem. I'm going to have to go off screen. I can't break this unless I concatenate it, and I'm not sure what effect that would have. Email, so then what we had is what? Apartment, street, city, state, zip, is that all of them?
Yeah, we didn't have to know.
And I believe, all right, so we do this, close the paren. I need to go back up and look at that. Close the paren. And then, yeah, then close the square brackets, and then we give it a class. So close the square bracket. This I can probably do on the next page, which is going to be eventually, yeah, person light. And we can name this whatever we want, PL. And then close that. And then do open and close curly braces. And I think, what does it not like about that? Oh, because I don't have a return yet. Actually, does it take an action result? Yeah. And it returns the view. Now, we can't quite do this, but I have another one where we did, I know how to do this. So, let's go back. So we have I don't know that we need the int, but let's do int result equals db dot, and we have our USP register, and it wants basically what we've got here, right? So we've got PL dot dot last name. Again, it's a bit of a pain. This one I can break up. PL dot first name, PL dot, and we need to make sure they go in the right order. Email. So we need password too. And password goes, where does it go? It goes before. It was after email. Yeah, it doesn't matter where it is in the class. It's where it has to be in terms of the store procedure. But yeah, I understand what you're saying there. So password has to come after email up here. So pl.email, pl.password, pl dot, and again I need to see, okay, so password apartment, pl dot street, And I'm going to break that just to keep it on screen. PL.city. PL. I think we do have to add home phone and here, home phone and the other one. So what do we got? City, state. So the order that I'm trying to go by is what's here, right? This is the IntelliSense for the stored procedure. It has to match that order. State, zip code. And up here, I am going to add home phone and work phone. We don't have to provide details for them, but they have to be, they're part of the stored procedure. So PL, what? So we need to pass them even if they're empty. PL dot, so we got zip code, so then it's home phone, right? And then work phone. Hopefully I got everything in the right order.
Mine's giving me an issue with the USP underscore register.
I had that.
It should disappear.
I had an extra semicolon where I needed it though.
I'm going to return the view. I'm not sure if that's what we really, what do I have? That would be a semicolon there. So it doesn't, oh, probably needs a paren.
Do you need to then delete the lines 53 through 57?
No,
How is it possible to have two action results?
because they have different signatures. They're overloaded. You ever overloaded methods? You can have multiple methods with the same name as long as they take different arguments. This one is for generating the form. This one is for writing the results. I think this is all we need to make this work, except we have to create the view. I'm going to try to auto create it because we're out of time.
Can you show the end of the include line?
What include line?
Move right.
Oh, I just did all the fields that were in the.
Looks like it doesn't work.
So all the fields that were in the. So let's see if I can generate a view. And then we may have to, if I can't, I may just do it and give it to you guys for next time. So we've got personnel. I'm going to try to create a view. Add view.
From the controller?
No, I'm doing it from the view folder under personnel. So I went down to view.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to name the view create. And I'm going to try to, well, it says create. And the model class I'm going to do is person light. So it should be in there. I'm going to see if it'll add it now. Still got the same error. No keys defined. Yes, it does. You know what? That might be. Let me look at the employee model. How does it set the person key as a key? Does it where?
Line 93. Oh, I guess there's also a 4 there.
I never tried to generate it. Person light. In which one?
In the employee controller.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you were comparing?
Well, I was looking into the, it says it doesn't have a key. I returned to view. I just did return to view empty. We're out of time, so I'll fix this. I'll show you the fix. I will post what I've got, but I'll post it with the fix. I think it might be under 2, because in 2 I actually created an alternate class. I think I only used it for anyway. I will post it with the fixes because we're out of time. I think what I will do is
Yeah, I can't.
Enjoy your convention.
yeah.
I
It only works 12 hours. You got me
think you'll have a lot of fun.
You got me jamming down for
Really?
including my work for English like 18. Like, no. I got 7 hours and 8%, and you got me for 12.
Do they have
for
free
9
food?
because I'm gonna
They have food. It isn't exactly free because the convention costs money. But
Oh.
school will reimburse theoretically.
Another 3 hours each day. I'm like, no.
Well, as long as it's not pizza.
Are you still gonna do it when you're out there?
Yeah.
I doubt it. I like pizza, but I doubt if that's what it's going to be.
But I'm also gonna work for the Newlands, doing the work on 10, what we're trying to probably see, ITC 240, maybe 250.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of work done. I'd love to come back here and work for them. I'm gonna work for them even after I get out of school, because I want to do those classes.
They wanted you to do more hours?
No, they do, she signed me up for a whole bunch of hours of tutoring that I didn't have work study for, so.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting because they just hired me on.
Yeah. Well, there's probably room for tutoring. No. All right.
I'm gonna stay here for the learning updates.
That's fine. The whole folder to OneDrive because I need to figure out what I did wrong with that. All right, so
So this network share, is this SVR12?
It's SRV12.
SRV12?
Yeah.
So it should just be //SRV12.
Yes.
So I can't.
Yes.
Get to that. Okay.
All right. Let me go look in it just a second.
Yeah, yeah. I got
Uh,
into the conference for, but it doesn't have access.
Yeah, or whatever you want. Yeah, we're just not going to. Or whatever. Yeah.
actually,
And at this point, I have 105%, so I don't need it to be anymore. You know what I'm having trouble with? Listen to you.
wow. 250, 270, 300 items.
When I tried to load up my assignment 7 on GitHub, it said too many files.
So.
Yeah.
So that will never share.
Well, I tried. No, this is just conference. 'Cause I can't get in underneath mine. I don't know why. I tried all the variations of password that I use, and one of them sits there and looks like it's loading, and then it stops. Because I haven't logged on in so long that it probably wants me to change my password, but I'm past changing password days.
See if I can get it online. After I get out of the virtual here.
I should have done this a while ago, but.
Yeah, leave this page. It's gone. This can go down. Close all. That's not what I want to do. Oh well, that's what I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just leave it for right now. Come on. Are you not gonna let me? All right, there we go. All right, so just to see if server 12 is there. Now there it goes. Slowly.
It may sound slow as computer there. Unless they're checking like a
See, mine went.
So it must be because the conference board doesn't have access to that.
Yeah,
Students must.
maybe. All right, so let's how many do I have there? Oh, the other thing I want to do is stop this video.